Welcome to day 6 of learning React Native. By now, we know how to build screens, style them, and navigate between them. But here's a real problem: how do we share data across multiple screens? For example, if a user logs in and we store their name, we might want to share or show that name on home screen, profile screen, and even in the header. Passing that through props or navigation becomes messy very quickly. React gives a clean solution called Context API. Think of context as shared data box that any component in app can open. So before doing this, I have done some changes. I have added another folder called project inside that to make it little bit uh, modular, you can say, or little bit better uh, structured. So app.tsx I have put it here, and as well as user context. So as you can see, I have done some coding here. You can see import react, we require create context component, use state, and use context from react. Okay, and we need to export this use context, okay, user context across our app. That is a global, it should be a global. And as well as you can see here, I have written export function user provider, but I have not written it as default. There are multiple reasons we are not writing, like we don't want to make it as a default. Usually with context we do not write it. That is the first reason. You can say kind of more than one export is always there. Like we have export, we are exporting this, and as well as exporting this, as well as when we import it in this particular function in other classes or other files. At that time, someone might, if we write default, someone might not write the exact name of the function, but if they write the correct path, then the default it will get imported. So we don't want to do that. That's the reason we are writing like this without default. Okay, so let me write other code in the class. I'll explain to you further. Const user, I'm creating use state. Okay, that will have name object I'm creating, and that will have Abhishek as default, city as Bangalore. This is the default value I'm giving. Okay, now semicolon. After this I need to return context. Okay, here I'll write user context dot provider value is equal to user comma set user. So Okay, inside the children, I need to accept this context. It will pass children. Okay, now I will write, I'll close this user context provider. Okay, step 3, let's go to step 3. Wrap your app with the provider. Here's where something important appears: the app navigator. App navigator is simply a file that contains all of our navigation screens for now, which we have written here. So we keep navigation logic out of app.js. So, to keep the project clean and organized as it grows. So let's write create app navigator app navigator .vcr. Okay, inside this we'll write import react from react. Okay, we'll import this. After that we'll import export. We'll write we need to import creator of navigation stack, create navigation, sorry, native stack navigator. Okay, this is the one. Create native stack navigator. We need to import this. After that we'll write constant stack is equal to create. Okay, I have this export default. Okay, default function, this is the main function that needs to be used. We'll write navigator. Okay, so return stack dot navigator. Okay, inside this we'll put all of the screens which you have, but before that we also need to create we need to separate out our detail screen, our uh, our home screens as well. So for that I'll create another sub branch. So yeah, sub branch called screens. Inside that I'll create all the screens. New file, home screen dot tsx, as well as I'll create another called details screen dot tsx. Maybe another like profile screen which I have not created yet. I'll create profile screen dot tsx. Okay, I've created these screens. Now inside that I'll copy my home. Let me copy this function into home screen. Need to import some of the modules and submodules. So like use context from React, import, we need to import view comma txt comma return from our React video, import user context as well. It will not be available as of now, that shared data. So dot here I need to use because it's outside the scope. So as this free, it's a function, so I need to convert it into a default export function. Okay, it will be used by our AppNavigator. User use context user context. Okay, so in return not maybe we can give some make some changes. Bottom 20 and we will give welcome comma user dot name. Okay, and go to profile. So we will not pass here params as we used to do, so we'll write profile that's our view. We can create another for details as well. Otherwise I can just copy this here. Let me copy this button. Okay, inside view I change some style. Height 120 slash, it's just spacing I'm using. Okay, now I think I can pass some message. Hello from home. To make it cleaner, I can write it as like this. Okay. Now let's change details page as well. Let me copy it from, let me remove this from here first, and Okay, I need to import some of the files. Import react from react. Okay, import, we need to import some view components or UI components, you can say. Okay, from react native, we'll again here we'll make this as export default. Okay, same here route, const message is equal to route dot param. Okay, I have taken this particular route and its params into message, so it would be easier to what they say access the params. That's why. Now what I'll do is that let the UI be same. Let's just keep this as well, but we'll change the text as well as let's change the style when we are doing it. Let's do it better. Margin top 10, 10, font size 18. Okay, and let's use message. Okay, okay, after this let's also change, we need to create this new UI. Let's change react comma context from react semicolon. Sorry, again I need to use context, not user context. Okay, import some UI components as well. View comma text comma text import, something like that. No, not requirement. Yeah, import our provider, context provider, that is user context. Okay, then export default function. Okay, profile screen. Okay, I've created a default function. Const user comma set user. Use context, user context. Okay, Every error will go after I write this thing, because user is not accessible, as I have not added there in AppNavigator. Okay, view style is equal to flex, comma, 1, comma, justify content, center, comma, align items, comma, center. Okay, let's add text. For that we'll give a style, font size, comma, margin, bottom, comma, 20, profile, information. Okay, let's take another text input, style. Let's add style is equal to okay, border width, column 1, border color. Okay, let's use CCCC. Okay, comma, padding, and let's add width as 2020. Okay, 220. Let's add maybe margin, bottom we need to give. Okay, that will be 20. I think that's enough. Let's add a value as well for this. Let's add value. We need to, here you can see we can update the context itself. On change text is equal to, we'll update text, text, set user will be called, sorry, okay, okay, dot user, okay, come on, name, text. Okay, let's close this text input. Let's add another text, like for city, we'll add another text. Style is equal to font. Will not update city. 18 18 city. We can write this in the same line. I'm just making I'm doing this in another line because it will look good. That's the reason, nothing else. Okay, I think this is fine. Now let's change our app navigator. Okay, here app navigator, and this will give, we need to import our UIs. Import home screen, import profile screen, import details screen. Okay, now let's add it to our app navigator or navigator stack. Okay, dot screen name is equal to home component is equal to home screen. Let's copy this. Profile screen, details screen, details. Okay, that's all app navigator does. Defines the screens and navigation stack. Now let's bring everything together in AppJS or AppTSX. We wrap navigation controller with our user provider, so every screen can access the global user data. Okay, so here we don't require this one to be included, and we don't require this as well. Even for that matter, we do not require create. We are not creating any stack here or navigation stack here, and stack actions also not required, only navigation controller. And we require our app navigator as well, app navigator. Okay, and also we require, as we are bringing both together, user context as well. Okay, now let's add our user provider. You do not require navigator here, as we already discussed. So let's add app navigator here. You need to only call app navigator. You need to wrap, as we already told, inside user provider. Okay, that's it. Now the entire navigation tree has access to user state. Finally, let's use the contacts inside screen. Okay, like this one, what we have done. So okay, let's save this one. I have not saved any of the classes. Okay, I think now let's run npm start. Before that, I forgot to explain you, like in profile screen we have written this code because we don't want to directly change the state. We only want to copy that and change the name. Okay, that's why we have done. Okay, now I can see there is an error coming out of app. Okay, function, yes. Okay, sorry. I think now it will run. Okay, see here we are changing Abhishek Salaya. Okay, let's go back. See, we do have context here still. After that, let's go to details. Okay, we do have that. So let's access in details as well. Let's access our screen. We need to only copy this and Or let's write it separately. Import user context. Okay, let me cross check. Yes, user context. Here I'll add another const param, that is user. I'll not set here, that's why I'm only writing this. User context, that is use context. Sorry for that. Okay, inside that I'll pass user context. Okay, okay, dot name. Okay, see, let me change another thing. In AppNavigator I am sending, sorry, from home screen I am sending hello home, so I'll write hello. I think this will make it correct. See, if I change here, it's available across. Okay, now I'll go back, it's Abhishek here as well as here. Okay, this is how context, or you can see global data sharing works. uh, so this screen is now reading globally. Okay, global data directly from context, no props, no passing through a navigation. Okay, and if any other screen updates the user using set user, the this profile screen will automatically update, because React re-renders anything using the context. Even for that, details screen will update, as we already are doing setting in profile screen, changing, updating the user in username in profile screen, so automatically it reflects in our home screen as well as on our detail screen. So to recap, context helps share data across your entire app. User provider wraps the app so any component can access the user data. App Navigator keeps navigation clean and organized. App.tsx simply wraps everything together, and screens use context to read and update the shared data. That's global state management with context in React Native. In day 7, we'll connect your app to real APIs, fetching data from a server